Hi there, I'm Nicholas Galitzine, and today I'm going to show you how I got pumped up for He-Man. Boom. My He-Man workout on a day-to-day basis, after I had built all of the muscle and had cut mostly, was just doing a variety of exercises to kind of maintain the muscle mass that I'd built. My training has changed a lot since I filmed He-Man because I have been filming a lot of other roles that don't require me to be that large. I had a call from my next director about 3 days after I finished He-Man saying, please stop working out. And so I miss my He-Man workouts quite a lot. You know, a really tricky thing when you're putting on a lot of size is it's very hard to gain just pure muscle without, gaining some fat as well. And so I basically went from about 80 kilos and then I blew up all the way to about like 103, 104, 105, and then cut all the way down to about like 91. But yeah, I certainly didn't feel like myself at over 100 kilos. I always sleep on the right side of the bed and came home from work one day and noticed there was a canyon on the right side of the bed, which wasn't there before. That was telling. I'd say the key muscle group was shoulders because of the classic He-Man harness. You want to fill sort of quite a triangular shape. And obviously a lot of that comes from obviously a tapered waist, but having very broad shoulders. I'd say the really difficult thing, because we didn't have that much time, was that I had to cut while we were filming. We'd reduce the weight session to about 45 minutes, but we'd basically do at least an hour and a half of cardio every day. And fitting that into the shooting schedule was a really, really tricky thing. So sometimes, I had to film a scene, and when we were changing setups, I'd run outside and bank 10, 15 minutes on the assault bike, run back in, shoot the rest of the scene, run back out again. And I'd say that was just mentally draining because you're kind of always on throughout a shooting day. My biggest challenge physically was eating way more food than I ever thought I could consume, and then eating way less food than I ever consumed. I'd say the diet was harder because I just really like exercising, and I'm someone who grew up playing rugby and a lot of sports, so I've always been in the gym. So definitely the food component was challenging. My diet in my peak was somewhere between 4,000 to 5,000 calories every day. So many nights I'd get to about 10 p.m. and I'd still have my sort of sixth meal to consume, and it's not fun food. I wish it was fun food, but yeah, very depressing. Oh God, I think I blocked it out of my brain. There was so little food. I mean, it's hard because, with a movie like this where you're doing a huge amount of stunt work, you need the energy. And so, having more fats in my diet, reducing some carbs, we just basically found the things that could give me the most joy. The light in the middle of the day was just getting a little bit of dopamine from Coke Zero. I think I'm just gonna take you guys through some really sort of basic movements just to get the boom. Boom. So I'm gonna do a dumbbell chest press. This is kind of my sort of core chest exercise that I like doing. You just get a lot of sort of freedom with the dumbbells. A lot of this would be, nothing really over like 12 reps. I mean, usually we want to kind of aim for like 8 reps, 2 warm-up sets and then 2 to 3 working sets, and not going too high in weight as well. I'm gonna do a bicep curl now on an easy bar. Sort of change it up a little bit because you're gonna do a reverse grip here, which is just great for the forearms. I mean, this wasn't massively important, whether it was reverse grip or standard grip, because I wore these sort of braces which hid a lot of that. But to me, just to get a really full pump in your arm, it feels better to do it reverse. I'm gonna do a couple of tricep exercises, usually because you're kind of, you're stopping and starting so much while you're shooting. We actually had a cable stack on set, which was really, really handy because, we wanted some really just full arms to represent the size and strength of He-Man. People know by now Dolph has a small scene in the movie that actually takes place in a gym, and we obviously talk about the pitfalls and the benefits of being He-Man, which of course there are many, but Unfortunately for Dolph, he had to film 3/4 of his movie in night shoots, which makes it a lot more draining having to pump up, every few minutes just to stay warm. But he gave me lots of sage advice. Yeah, we're so pleased to have him in the movie. Another really handy movement right before doing a scene creates these sort of rounded shoulders is an upright row. It's something that you can go pretty high weight on and really just like blast out for even something like 20 reps right before a scene. So that was my workout. Thank you for watching, and please go see the movie, Masters of the Universe. Boom.